California was once untouchable, the crown jewel of American prosperity, a place where sunshine, opportunity, and soaring home values seemed like they would last forever. But in 2025, the shine has worn off, and the cracks are impossible to ignore. Mortgage rates have crushed affordability. Insurance premiums are spiraling out of control. Tech layoffs and climate disasters have left even the most desirable neighborhoods trembling. And suddenly, the buyers who once fought tooth and nail for a chance to own here are pulling back, walking away, getting cold feet. Across the Golden State, hesitation is no longer rare. It's the defining mood of the market. The American dream that once felt inevitable in California now feels fragile, uncertain, and out of reach. Tonight, we count down the 10 worst cities in California where homebuyers are getting cold feet in 2025. These are the markets where fear is rising, where regret shadows every purchase, and where the dream of owning a home in California may be slipping away for good. And before we begin, make sure you subscribe to Discover the Nation, your window into the truth behind America's most fragile housing markets.
Number 10. Ventura. Ventura has long been seen as the quieter, more affordable alternative to Malibu and Santa Barbara. Perched on the Pacific coast, it offers sun-soaked beaches, laid-back living, and a small-town feel that made it a magnet for buyers priced out of Los Angeles. But in 2025, that charm is colliding with hard reality. Home prices that once seemed like a bargain have climbed well past the reach of average incomes. The median home now stretches far beyond what local salaries can support. Buyers step into open houses, run the numbers, and walk away. The dream isn't penciling out. Insurance premiums are another blow. With Ventura's position along the coast, rising flood risks and wildfire threats have sent insurers retreating. Those who remain are charging staggering rates, adding hundreds, even thousands to monthly costs. Suddenly, a mortgage that seemed manageable becomes suffocating. Then comes inventory. After years of bidding wars, Ventura's housing supply is swelling. Sellers slash prices, buyers hesitate, and homes linger on the market far longer than they did just 2 years ago. For newcomers, this signals opportunity. For longtime residents, it feels like decline. The job market adds another layer of stress. Ventura's economy, heavily tied to tourism and local services, has slowed. Younger buyers, many of whom once flocked here for the balance between affordability and lifestyle, are now eyeing Texas, Nevada, and Arizona instead. Migration isn't flowing in, it's flowing out. So why is Ventura cracking? Because the illusion of coastal affordability has broken. Buyers see the mounting costs, the fragile job base, and the risks from the next wildfire season. And their feet are colder than the Pacific tides rolling onto the shore.
Number 9. Oakland. Oakland has always been a city of contrasts. Positioned just across the Bay Bridge from San Francisco, it promised buyers a more affordable path into the Bay Area's housing market. But in 2025, that promise has withered. Affordability remains the central issue. Even with price corrections, the median home in Oakland is still out of reach for many. Local wages haven't kept pace, and those tech salaries that once justified the climb are no longer guaranteed. Layoffs ripple through Silicon Valley, and buyers who once stretched to make Oakland work now hesitate. Crime perception has also returned as a decisive factor. While not new, rising headlines around property crime and safety are once again scaring off would-be homeowners. Cold feet often come not just from numbers on a mortgage calculator, but from the lived reality of whether families feel secure in their investment. Investor pullback compounds the problem. For years, Oakland's real estate market thrived on outside buyers, investors looking to flip or rent. In 2025, many of those investors have vanished. With interest rates high and rent growth stagnating, the math no longer works. The city's condo overhang adds further weight. Developers built aggressively during the boom years, and now many of those units sit unsold, casting a shadow of oversupply. Oakland's story is one of opportunity turned sour. Buyers once flocked here to escape San Francisco's insane prices. Now, with cold feet and cautious calculations, many are asking, is Oakland worth the risk at all?
Number 8. Santa Cruz. Santa Cruz has always been a paradox. A beach town with a bohemian soul, it drew buyers chasing the dream of surf, sand, and a slower pace of life. But behind the postcard views lies one of the most fragile housing markets in California. The affordability crisis here is severe. The median home price towers over local wages. Santa Cruz is home to service workers, students, and retirees, not high-paying industries. For many, owning a home here has become an impossible calculation. Insurance shocks make things worse. Coastal flooding, cliffside erosion, and wildfire risks in nearby mountains mean insurers have hiked premiums to staggering levels. For families already stretched thin, this is often the deal breaker. Then there's the remote work reversal. During the pandemic, Santa Cruz thrived as Bay Area workers fled to the coast, bringing money and demand with them. But in 2025, return-to-office policies are pulling those buyers back to San Jose and San Francisco. Demand has cooled sharply, leaving sellers chasing buyers who no longer exist. Inventory is rising, homes sit longer, and price cuts are becoming standard. Buyers who walk through those oceanfront listings often turn back, realizing the beauty doesn't outweigh the risks. Santa Cruz is proof that paradise can come with a price too steep to pay. And in 2025, many would-be buyers are walking away before they're trapped.
Number 7. Santa Barbara. Santa Barbara is California's luxury dreamscape. Mediterranean villas, ocean views, and an elite lifestyle few can afford. But even in this haven of wealth, the cracks are showing. The luxury slowdown is unmistakable. Across the nation, the ultra-high-end market has softened, and Santa Barbara is no exception. Wealthy buyers who once purchased second or third homes here now hesitate, calculating the risks of tying millions into property when markets wobble. Insurance withdrawal is another dagger. With wildfire threats climbing each year, some insurers have simply abandoned Santa Barbara's hillsides. Others charge premiums that dwarf even the priciest mortgages. Buyers with the money can pay, but many choose not to, walking away instead. The middle class, once clinging to Santa Barbara's outer neighborhoods, is vanishing. Affordability is dead, and migration trends show more people leaving than arriving. For a city built on exclusivity, that exclusivity is turning toxic. And then there's the cultural shift. Once a hotspot for out-of-state investors and wealthy retirees, Santa Barbara is now caught in a feedback loop of hesitation. Potential buyers see homes sitting longer on the market. They watch neighbors cut prices, and they wonder if today's deal will be tomorrow's regret. Even longtime residents whisper about whether the golden years of Santa Barbara real estate are truly behind them. Homes linger, price cuts hit, and what was once an automatic sell is now a gamble. Cold feet are spreading, even in California's so-called paradise.
Number 6. Laguna Niguel. Orange County's Laguna Niguel once epitomized suburban success. Safe neighborhoods, good schools, and proximity to both jobs and beaches. But in 2025, hesitation defines this market. Affordability is the first problem. The median home stretches far beyond what most families in the region can support. Buyers often come with dreams of Orange County living, only to realize the mortgage costs will suffocate them. Cold feet set in. Insurance premiums add another layer. Wildfire zones creep ever closer, and flooding concerns are growing. Buyers do the math, and insurance quotes can derail deals in a single conversation. Oversupply is creeping in. During the boom, developers built relentlessly. Now, with demand cooling, new homes pile up on the market. For buyers, this signals they can wait. Why rush into a deal today when tomorrow's prices may be lower? And beyond the numbers, the psychology has shifted. Open houses that once sparked bidding wars now end in polite handshakes and no offers. Families weigh the risks of buying here when just a few miles away, prices are softening in neighboring communities too. Laguna Niguel is no longer seen as a guaranteed bet, but as part of a broader decline across the county. Laguna Niguel is proof that even desirable suburban havens aren't immune. Cold feet here aren't about lifestyle, they're about hard numbers and the sinking realization that the math no longer works.
Number 5. Santa Clarita. Santa Clarita, north of Los Angeles, has long been one of Southern California's fastest-growing communities. Families moved here for bigger homes, newer developments, and a suburban lifestyle close to the city. But now, that growth has outpaced demand. Home prices, while lower than Los Angeles proper, remain brutally high compared to incomes. Many buyers arrive hopeful only to discover the gap between wages and mortgages is simply too wide. Worse, new development hasn't slowed. Builders continue to flood the market with fresh supply, banking on past demand. But in 2025, buyers aren't keeping pace. The result is oversaturation, homes sitting unsold and price cuts mounting. Wages remain stagnant and jobs in the region aren't growing fast enough to justify the cost of living. Add in rising commuting costs, and buyers are increasingly questioning whether Santa Clarita is worth it. And there's another problem: lifestyle fatigue. What was once marketed as affordable suburban living now comes with long drives, heavy traffic, and higher gas costs. Families start to wonder if the dream of extra square footage is worth sacrificing time, money, and convenience. This calculation pushes many to the sidelines, leaving half-finished developments as monuments to a market gone cold. The result? Cold feet, canceled contract, and a market where hesitation has become the rule, not the exception.
Number 4. Palm Springs. Palm Springs has long thrived as a second home market, a desert retreat for retirees, snowbirds, and wealthy Los Angeles buyers. But in 2025, that retreat is losing its shine. Extreme heat is one reason. Summers are now brutally hot, with record temperatures making year-round living difficult. For younger buyers and families, this isn't a lifestyle, it's a risk. The same desert climate that once attracted winter visitors now raises questions about long-term livability. The second home market has also collapsed under high interest rates. Vacation buyers are gone, and retirees think twice before sinking their savings into a home that may lose value. Inventory has surged, and sellers are slashing prices. Homes that once fetched bidding wars now sit untouched, collecting dust in the relentless desert heat. Tourism, the lifeblood of Palm Springs, has slowed as travelers choose cheaper alternatives or opt for destinations less impacted by climate change. Without that constant influx of wealth, local businesses suffer, and housing demand follows. Golf courses close, restaurants cut staff, and what was once a glamorous playground feels more like a fading relic. Add to this the specter of water shortages and ballooning utility costs. Air conditioning bills climb to astronomical levels, and sustainability questions loom large. Buyers walk through stylish desert modernist homes, but can't ignore the future risks. What was once a glamorous getaway is now a market in retreat. Buyers feel the heat, literally and financially, and walk away before they're trapped in the desert.
Number 3. Los Angeles. Los Angeles is the epicenter of California's housing crisis. For years, its sprawling metro drove trends across the state. But in 2025, the dream here is unraveling. Affordability is catastrophic. The median home costs more than 10 times the median household income. Families who once stretched with dual incomes now see no path forward. Cold feet aren't hesitation here, they're survival. For every open house packed a few years ago, there are now quiet showings with buyers who leave shaking their heads. The insurance crisis looms large. Hillside mansions face wildfire risk, coastal homes face flood threats, and insurers are fleeing.
For those left behind, premiums are staggering. Deals fall apart not at the bank but at the insurance office, where monthly costs suddenly double or triple. Job instability adds to the spiral. Hollywood strikes, tech layoffs, and slowing entertainment jobs mean incomes aren't guaranteed. Buyers don't want to gamble on a city that no longer feels like a sure bet. Even those with high salaries are second-guessing the risk, wondering if tying themselves to a 30-year mortgage is worth the gamble in a city that feels increasingly unstable. Migration trends confirm the story. Families leave Los Angeles in record numbers, chasing affordability in Texas, Arizona, and Nevada. The result? Homes sit longer, prices stagnate, and hesitation defines the market. The glamour of Los Angeles remains, but beneath the Hollywood facade lies a market frozen in doubt. Los Angeles is no longer the land of opportunity, it's the land of cold feet.
Number 2, San Diego. San Diego, once one of California's strongest markets, is faltering. The city's stunning coastline, vibrant neighborhoods, and military presence long supported demand. But in 2025, buyers are stepping back. The affordability crisis here is intense. Wages, even in biotech and defense, aren't keeping pace with soaring home prices. The math simply doesn't work for most families. For many, the dream of a beachside bungalow has been replaced by sticker shock and canceled contracts. Insurance troubles add fuel. Coastal flooding and wildfire risks have driven premiums through the roof. Buyers who once dreamed of beachside living find themselves priced out, not just by mortgages, but by insurance bills. It's not uncommon for quotes to add thousands per year, enough to crush a family's budget. The military, a backbone of San Diego's economy, faces uncertainty as defense budgets tighten. For many families tied to that sector, long-term stability feels fragile. The risk of sudden relocation or job cuts makes home ownership here more precarious than ever. Inventory is swelling, homes sit longer, and price cuts are spreading across neighborhoods. Suburbs that once thrived on bidding wars now see sellers waiting months for offers. For a city once defined by strength and desirability, the shift is jarring. The result? A market where cold feet have replaced bidding wars, and hesitation shadows even the sunniest San Diego days. Number 1. San Francisco. San Francisco, the city that once defined the housing boom, is now the clearest symbol of collapse. For years, tech money fueled an unstoppable surge. Condos soared, Victorian homes sold in bidding wars, and even fixer-uppers commanded millions. But in 2025, that story has flipped. Tech layoffs have gutted demand. The once guaranteed salaries that justified sky-high mortgages have evaporated. Downtown remains hollowed out, with office towers empty and businesses shuttered. The city's economic core feels shaky, and housing demand follows suit. Affordability is worse than ever. Even with price drops, the median home is unattainable for most. Cold feet aren't about hesitation, they're about buyers realizing the dream is mathematically impossible. Young families who once dreamed of raising children here now look across state lines for relief. Investors have retreated. What was once a playground for venture capital has become a warning sign. Properties once snapped up for rental conversions now sit idle, and the wealth that once propped up demand is flowing elsewhere. The migration crisis compounds the collapse. Families flee to cheaper states, leaving empty homes and rising vacancies. The very energy that once defined San Francisco, innovation, optimism, relentless demand, has cooled into caution. San Francisco is the epicenter of cold feet in 2025. What was once the crown jewel of California real estate is now the clearest example of how fragile the dream can be, and how quickly a boom can turn into a bust.
California's housing market was once unstoppable, but in 2025, the cracks are undeniable. From Ventura's fragile coastlines to San Francisco's hollowed-out skyline, buyers across the state are pulling back. Cold feet have become the defining emotion of this market,
and the dream of California homeownership, once shining so bright, is fading under the weight of affordability, risk, and uncertainty. If you want to stay ahead of these changes, don't miss what's coming next. Subscribe to Discover the Nation, turn on notifications, and join us as we uncover the biggest shifts in America's housing story. Because in today's market, hesitation isn't just a feeling, it's the future.